You're a pet detective and his tutu. There's Bass. PK, is there supposed to be a button here or not?
Absolutely not. That's to let the cleavage out,
really?
Open up the chest, let some air through
There's
it.
a lot of chest hair on this show. Maybe too. I'm going to button up for, let's get serious, for Emily Kaplan. She's a serious journalist. Em, already you told us earlier tonight about Charlie McAvoy's 4-game suspension, so we know about that. William Nylander in the game tonight, high-flying forward for the Maple Leafs. He's going to get paid in a big way. How are the contract negotiations going? I imagine they're going really good for Willie himself.
You know, Steve, it's actually really tough to say. Last time Willie's contract was up, he told his agent, I don't want to negotiate at all during the season. And this year he said, okay, my agent Louis Gross can talk to the team, but I don't want to hear about it until you guys are almost at the finish line. So obviously yesterday I called Louis Gross and he did not want to tell me anything. However, I did talk to some rival teams around the league, and they told me the comparables for Willie Nylander are from Mark Stone, Gabe Landeskog, Philip Forsberg, and Artemi Panarin. That's a really big range. We're talking about $8.5 million a year to $11.6 million per year. People around the league assume that Willie Nylander is asking for the upper end of that. He wants to be paid amongst his peers on the team and is also probably reminding the team, I'm the one that typically shows up during the playoffs.
That's a great point. His postseason was terrific last year. The other big story making the rounds in the NHL, this is from last week. Shane Pinto of the Ottawa Senators suspended 41 games for activities relating to sports wagering. What are you hearing from players around the league and the league itself on this situation?
Yeah, players are really confused because they don't know exactly what Shane Pinto did. The NHL CBA only says players are not allowed to gamble on NHL games, and in the suspension, the NHL said, we found no evidence that Shane Pinto did this. However, this 41-game suspension, the league wanted to go much harsher. This was negotiated down by the players' union, including a confidentiality agreement. Here's what I can tell you. It wasn't one specific thing that got Shane Pinto suspended. Rather, there was a pattern of behavior flagged around a betting account that he legally opened, but a third party potentially had access to. And so the NHLPA knows there's a ton of confusion around this, so they're holding calls for players as they meet with teams. They're explaining, here are the do's and don'ts so you don't end up in Shane Pinto's situation.
The plot thickens. Thank you, Emily Kaplan from Toronto. I mean, PK, you were in the league, 5 minutes ago, so you're
Listen,
a current guy.
First of all,
Yeah.
I have no idea what Shane Pinto did or didn't do. I know absolutely nothing about it.
Okay.
I think everybody knows that. But I have spoken to former teammates, and guys are confused. They don't know, first of all, what he did, what he didn't do, what he did wrong. We know the rule. You can't gamble on NHL games. The NHL said he didn't gamble, so what's the rule? And, for players that are of age, gambling's allowed. You're allowed to gamble on other sports. You're allowed to do that. Whether you choose to do that in your free time or not, I think the line's got to be clear in terms of what is the rule, if you do this, this is what's going to happen with a 41-game suspension, or you're looking at serious trouble. So I think the NHL, the NHLPA have to do their work to clarify these lines for guys, because nobody wants to be in that situation.
There's no confusion. Everybody knows what the rules are.
Yeah.
They go through every training camp. They go specifically exactly what the rules are, what they can and
what
can't
did he
do.
do?
There's no confusion. So I don't think but I know of being the king of rock and roll. There's a lot of people that wanted to come into my world. I had to be very careful of the friends that I chose to make sure that I protected myself.
There you go.
It's a good lesson for all the guys out there. Make sure you know who's getting in your inner circle.
Well said. Well said.
It's really hard to have a
Maybe Bess knows something I don't. I don't know.
These outfits here. We'll be back. First intermission.
This is our house. Do you dare come knocking?
In transition.